God wants family. Yahweh wants family. This is all for family. That's what this is for. And so if we keep that in the big picture and we understand this, we're all interdependent on one another. And so as I talk about some of these scriptures and things, if you could think of it in terms of us, we becoming a people, not individuals rallying around a common cause or individuals looking for a breakthrough or an escape, but becoming a people. Let's get healed together. Let's become whole together. Do you see, like thinking of God's people in that way? And then also, what the Lord showed me was, so the more, see, the kingdom comes by revelation. But the great thing is everybody can receive that revelation. Yeah? So there's not this special hierarchy of who can receive revelation. I think that's one of the things Jesus proved in his ministry. The people that were kind of supposed to be getting it weren't getting it. And then all of these kind of outcasts and the fishermen, and they were getting it. And actually it's like the more, if you would say, revelation or authority that the Lord gives you, the less visible. Remember when Jesus was with the disciples and they were arguing over who's going to be the greatest? Remember that? Well, so what was going on? He talked about he's going to go to the cross and stuff. And so what are they thinking? Okay, Jesus is the leader of the 12. Now he's going to go away. Who's in the vice president position now that can rise up, and lead the rest of the 11, or they get one more and there's another 12. That was the whole context of that conversation there. And there's nothing wrong. That's what they had been taught. And that's when Jesus said, we're not going to be like that. That's not how the kingdom is. The kingdom operates with authority, but not hierarchy. And I'm gonna bring us back to this concept of hierarchy. And I'm telling you what you're gonna see, the enemy is gonna be exposed, because the way that he brings oppression and the way that he brings what he wants people to image, okay, the anti, if you want to call it that he wants people to image hierarchy and oppress through hierarchy, where one is better than another, or one benefits at the expense of others. So Jesus said, no, in the kingdom, we treat everyone with equality. Okay, we're all equals. There's authority, there's not hierarchy. And so he's telling them this, and he says, so whoever wants to be the greatest among you must be the least. Let me give you unpacking, if you just unpack that in the original language and context, and make sure you're reading the right scholarship, not filtered college scholarship that's trying to promote a system of hierarchy. What Jesus is saying is, in the kingdom, there's no hierarchy. We're not like the pagan Gentile nations that lord it over. In the kingdom, there's no hierarchy. And guess what? Whoever wants to become the greatest must become less visible. In fact, eventually the least visible. If you think about the ministry of Jesus, right? So there's Jesus. It was only 3 years. And he's teaching, but he's constantly sharing his platform. He's constantly sending people out. He's trying as much as possible to yes, he shows up, he does the miracles, teaching, but he's equipping those disciples, and he actually keeps getting less visible until he goes to the cross and literally goes in the earth and is invisible. Do you see? But in becoming invisible, come on, he rose like Dr. Brown was talking about. Yeah. Now he has all the authority. Now he's in the highest place. And so
just notice, Pastor Stoval, Kurt, notice how often in the progression of his ministry that he keeps saying to the disciples, You know, they said on the Mount of Beatitudes, we were just there a couple of weeks ago, Lord, the people are hungry. So instead of him going,
let me be the
I can take care of this. Yeah, I'm the Lord here. I'll do this. He says, you feed them. All right, this one is, you heal them. And he sends them out 2 by 2. You can do this. You're a part of my family. You have my DNA. You are, this is, you know, I'm the head of this family, but you carry the same anointing DNA, and he's teaching them progressively, year by year, just for those couple of years, that this is you are who I am. And his greatest joy, I think, was seeing the disciples take their place, realize who they were. You know, it was a great revelation when Peter said, Jesus is speaking to them there, and he says, who do men say that I am? You know, oh, some say you're this, some say you're that. And he says, but who do you say that I am? And Peter rises up all of a sudden. He's like the donkey in Shrek. Oh, choose me. I just heard it. I just got it. He just got it. You are the Messiah. You are the Son of the living God. And I can just see Jesus go, this is gonna work. This is gonna work. This is gonna work.
So with that context, let me just read a few scriptures and we're going to go to Genesis. And we're going to see, well, let me just take you to the end there, right? So in the New Eden, we're going to look at, in about 10 minutes, we're going to go from the beginning of Genesis to the end of Revelation. Are y'all ready? And what we're going to do is, we're going to see these patterns, okay? And what we're going to see is that we're all partnering with God to see this original Eden, the Bet Av, the house of the Father, with his family, see that restored in the very end, okay? And what we're going to see is this. Here's what we're going to see from the whole thing, okay? God calls us right now as stewards, not rulers, okay? We can rule with him in the age to come if we're faithful, because our rule will become his rule. Do you see what I'm saying? But right now we're stewards. And we're going to, in the very beginning, where Adam and Eve got in trouble was they chose to have their own definition of what good and evil is, instead of trusting Yahweh's definition for what good and evil is. And so what they did was they stepped into the place of ruler instead of stewarding God's rule like they were supposed to. When man steps into the place of ruler, hierarchy is formed. I'm not saying just men, I'm saying men or women. We're gonna see this whole pattern here. And so here's what he's called us to do as God's people. Where there's equality. I'm gonna show you this. There's equality. There are distinctions. The gospel's for the Jew first. Do you see? Where there's neither male nor female, Jew nor Greek, CEO or bathroom cleaner, if you want to put it like that. Everybody is equal, and in the eyes of Jesus, everyone's place is vital to the kingdom functioning as a whole. So there's equality, and once we can relate to one another that way, now we're demonstrating love. You're not going to be compassionate. Well, love's being compassionate. Love is serving. Yes, it is all those. But the kingdom thing is, it doesn't matter. I can tell you from being from a church. Okay, so we had our hierarchies. My group of pastors that I ran with, we had our hierarchies. You had to be this big a church to get in this green room, and you had to be this big a church to get up. None of that is from God. That's all hierarchy. That's all imaging the world system. You see, we're learning that from the world system, from corporate America, wherever. That's those powers Mike was talking about that are trying to get us to image, the anti-kingdom, the world system. Okay, so what if we can truly think in this way, get the kingdom revelation and operate and treat every single person with equality? Guess what that does to one another? It gives us dignity. And that's why God gave us free will in the first place. Because He wanted to give us dignity. He gives us dignity so that we could choose, so that we can image Him. It's one of the highest attributes of God. We can't image God without free will, because God has free will. And so He gives us dignity, and the Lord calls us to demonstrate that dignity to one another. And when that happens, guess what? Now we can work this way from equality to distinctives. Okay? Neither male nor female. Well, but there is male or female. Are you following me? Neither Jew nor Greek. But there is Jew and Greek. You start with equality, then you can move to the distinctives with the dignity and the order that God has chosen, right? Because we're all equals. What I see the enemy is, he starts with the distinctives. He starts with the fragment, I call it the fragmentation and distinctives, and then we try to work this way to find common ground. The kingdom is the reverse of that. Do you see? And we see that in Eden, and we'll see it again in the new Eden restored. I mean, we're all the kingdom of priests, all of that.
Can I just say 2 words here? This is so good. I see it as position and function. Our position is the same when we come into the family. We're brothers and sisters. We are family. Our position is secure, but our function is distinct, unique. You know, some are singers, some are players, some are. That's why the psalm said, "I'd rather be a doorkeeper in the house. I still have a place at the table. I'm family. Just let me open the door. Give me the least job. It's the least function. I don't care because I'm in the family." And so, whether I'm opening the door or I'm serving the cup.
And if you were next to Jesus, which in the heavenlies you are, you would feel how crucial that is. That Jesus would be doing that is what, like, there's authority, but there's not hierarchy. And so this demonstration of love, let me try, because we've got 10 minutes left. Okay, y'all ready? Let me go with Genesis 3, and we'll end up in the heavenly Jerusalem coming down as a bride. Can the Lord do it in 7? Because y'all are going to get it. I'm telling you, the kingdom is like a seed. You see what I'm saying? And then the kingdom is birthing. Genesis 3, okay? So remember, Adam and Eve, co-equals, priests. They're imaging the priesthood. They're imaging the kingdom. Remember, only Eden was the bet. They had to go be fruitful and multiply. They had to subdue the rest of the world. It was not a global Eden. There was this particular place that you can read about in Scripture. This was what we would call the overlap. The overlap of heaven and earth. Here's Adam and Eve learning how to image God. And here's what they're doing, if we would say this, because this leads into patterns. And how we're to pattern our life looking at the age to come. How we're to pattern our life with the heavenly pattern, with the heavenly kingdom. We could call it the kingdom of heaven. We could call it the kingdom of God. That we pattern our lives after that, and in so doing, we begin to image and reflect the character and nature of God, and how if you want to call it the kingdom culture of how we form and act as a people. That's a whole nother. But just think, if we form our lives on the pattern of the age to come, Okay? So they're in Eden, and now, here comes Satan, the Nakash. This is much more than a snake. You've studied this in the Hebrew. He's a supernatural being here. And he tempts Adam and Eve to sin. And I want you to look at the curse and what happens to mankind and Satan as well. Look, the Lord said to the serpent, because you have done this, look at this, cursed are you. I want you to see that Satan is the only being cursed in this pronouncement. Not Eve, not Adam. After the curse is to Satan, after this, guess what God is going to do, as he does many times throughout Scripture. Now God is going to give the prophetic descriptive of what it's going to be like now in the earth and in relationships, because you have allowed sin to come in and corruption to come in, and you brought hierarchy. Okay? So, look at this. Cursed are you, above all livestock, beasts of the field, you shall eat dust all the days of your life. Look at this. Verse 15, I will put enmity between you and the woman. Stop. Women, I want you to think about that. Now, God is, I'm going to show you what this is a descriptive. It's not prescriptive. It's descriptive. I'll put enmity, because we always quickly go in your seed and her seed, because yes, the Messiah Jesus is going to come. I want you to think about that. Listen, the woman for the fall, co-equals Adam. What is this thing about Satan and the woman? Because the woman, or the bride, is the prize. Do you see? Jesus is coming. Don't think sexual. Nope. Jesus is coming back, right? For a bride without spot, wrinkle, or blemish. This beautiful, radiant bride. I know it's in the form of the New Jerusalem. That's like the wife of the Lamb. We're not going to get too deep. I just want you to see these forms, and I want you to understand, women, it's very important that you see how important that you have dignity, that you see. Because the kingdom, this is the kingdom. The kingdom is about the reversal of the oppressed. That's why Jesus said, I came to set the captives free. He's not just talking about us being saved, yes, saved from sin, but there is a reversal of those who have been oppressed from hierarchy. Why? Because if you go on down, in between you go on between your offspring and her offspring, he talks about, look at this, he says at the end, he says, your desire will be contrary to your husband, look, and he shall rule over you. In other words, now because of corruption, sin, and hierarchy, there's no longer going to be this oneness of unity and equality amongst mankind. Now, who's going to suffer in hierarchy? The weaker vessel. Who's going to suffer in hierarchy? Kids. Let's think about nations. Your seed and her seed. The Jewish people. Who is going to be at the eye of every type of oppressive, brutal, try to wipe off the face of the earth? It's going to be God's people. It's going to be the seed, right? And I'm not being, if you think of our own country,